record so that way they could watch after the fact. So I'm going to record, and I think that's it. I think that's my big spiel. Yeah, you can voice chat. So if you would like to voice chat, there should be a little thing down here where you can raise your hand, and then I'll pull you up. Yeah, there you go. See, there we go. And then I think you just gotta accept it or something. There it is.
Yeah. Yo, what's poppin'?
What's good, man? How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting better at like editing more frequently because I have a bad habit of falling off. Still going a little bit.
I feel that to my core. To my core. Okay, so I think you had said, generally speaking, that you were looking for feedback in general on the channel. Is that right?
Yeah. So I have a specific question, but I was also like, you know what? More eyes. Let me tell me if you see any glaring issues with how I set up branding, how I write, how I edit, like anything that stands out. And then I also have a specific issue that I have seen people talk about a similar situation.
Okay.
People talk about a similar situation, but mine's a little a little more specific. So
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so the situation, God, I think it was a bad idea watching failed Shark Tank pitches before. Oh, great! Now I'm gonna get kicked out. Everyone's gonna go out, and I'm not gonna get any investors.
You are not gonna get kicked out. I promise. It is not that serious. You're not gonna get kicked out.
Yeah, I realize there is no thread, but like my brain has just been watching people be like, "Oh, I'm saying something," and then the experts being like, "Oh, wow, you're an idiot." It's one of those things where it's just like, I know that's not the case whatsoever. This is a friendly advice situation, but it's one of those things where I've been for the last hour of editing, I've been watching people be like, "Oh, here's, give me $1 million and I'll throw away your change for you."
Well, there's a high probability I won't call you an idiot. There's always a chance, but probably not. Probably not. So how about we do this? Why don't you hit me with your question first? Let's talk about that, and then afterwards we can spend some time talking channel and videos. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's on your mind?
So here's the situation that I'm in, and I keep thinking about it. I've had friends that tell me that it's not as bad as I think it is. So I've changed my video format at least 2 separate times, but I've never changed my niche. So I started, if you've ever watched the YouTube channel Scott DeLaws, I was ripping him off for like the first couple of years. And like, dog, it's blatant. I tried to argue about I tried to be like, no, I get it's derivative, but it's like different, you know? It wasn't different.
That's all right. That's totally okay. I mean, I probably wouldn't recommend completely ripping off somebody's content, but especially when you're first learning, that's definitely not a bad way to go about it.
Yeah, I was just convinced that was the method for me, but eventually I transitioned to video essays. But the first couple of video essays have like meme brain rot editing a bit.
Okay.
And now with the most recent 2 videos, the Undead Unluck video and the Ruby video, it's just flat out. It's not like a super serious video essay, but I'm not like inserting random memes here and there.
Okay.
So my question is, it's although it's the same niche, I have wildly, at least between the video essays and what I call laws of like content, I have 2 very different styles of videos.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone looks up my channel and they're like, "Oh, he made a video about Chainsaw Man," it's going to be a wildly different kind of video than the Undead Unluck video. And I'm wondering if I should unlist the videos that have a style of content that I don't produce anymore. Because if I have people that like my newer content, they go to my older content and like, oh, they make a bunch of different stuff, and I don't like this other version. Or if people, for whatever reason, go to my older content, subscribe, see that I've gotten a little bit more pretentious,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more pretentious over time, and they may want to unsubscribe. Like, I'm wondering if I should unlist the videos because despite the fact that they're the same niche, I feel like you would want to watch those different kinds for two different reasons.
Okay, so I think I'm following what you're saying. The kind of the dumbed down question is, should you unlist videos? And a lot of times people also ask, like, should I do like a new channel? Is that something else that you've been thinking about? Like, do I need to like start a new channel, or not so much?
Not so much,
Okay.
because I haven't gotten any bulk. I don't have an existent audience, so I'm not worried because I have like 600. I have almost 650 subscribers over the course of years. Like, it's kind of like I haven't really gathered anything yet, you know. So I'm not
Well,
worried about like.
I'd hesitate to say you haven't gathered anything yet, but let me ask you this. So the question of like, should I enlist videos? Is there something that you're worried about? Like, do you feel like unlisting could help a certain thing for you, or is there something that kind of concerns you about having older videos that are maybe like a different style to what you're currently doing?
So my biggest concern is my older style of content is still a part of the first impression. So if I get someone in with a more serious approach to a video essay and they see that I have an older kind of video, of Scott DeVos video, they click on that thinking that it's the more pretentious thing. I may lose that person from that trade-off. Or I have a couple of older videos that still make the rounds, and I'll see people subscribe and then unsubscribe. Like,
Okay.
they'll subscribe from that video, and then the number will go down a little bit later on because they'll see that the newest videos aren't anything like that.
Okay. I got you.
My concern is I don't know, because I can't get a definitive answer on this, and it may just be not good enough research on my part. But I can't see if the lost views from unlisting a video negatively impacts a channel.
Okay.
And I also have a friend that has said, hey, if those videos, regardless if it's the same like viewer intent, it's gaining more eyes. Like, it's still reeling people into the channel.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so let me I'm going to answer this short way and a long way, okay? So the short answer is that it doesn't really matter. Like, I think it would matter more to you and your channel if you had 100,000 subscribers, right? If you had a really big sample size to pull from your audience, then it might be a little bit more like, well, shoot, like, I really do want to switch up the style. Should I enlist or private or even delete my old videos? So as is, the only reason I might recommend unlisting certain things is if you feel like it's not a good representation of you and your voice now. I don't think that having older videos on the channel, I'm doing the Italian in me is coming out. I'm doing a lot of hand waving right now. I don't.
Dude, I was over here emoting.
He's standing up out of the chair, dancing around.
Did a sick ass cartwheel. You didn't even get to see.
Older, it's not going to hurt your views. Okay, so generally speaking, if you post a good video on YouTube, that video will perform well. Obviously, there's no guarantees. There's no just check off these things and performance increase, whatever. But as long as you are, like you said, staying within the same niche, right? It's not like you're doing. My mouse is dying sick. It's not like you're doing cooking videos, and then you're swapping to anime, and then maybe you're doing like IRL vlogs, and then like theme park vlogs, you know, stuff like that. It's all within the same realm. Sorry, I'm grabbing my charging cable real quick. So what I would say to that is it probably doesn't matter as much as you might think. I would worry more about improving your craft and video and like video editing style and content strategy over you know, what videos should you keep on. But what I will say is that it might matter, and this will be the long answer to your question. So mouse is charged, we are ready to go. When you post a video, right? And here comes my graphic design skills. So let's say this is video 1. Okay. This might attract 3 different people. Okay. We've got audience member 1, audience member 2, audience member 3. Okay. And they all like anime. I'm not tapped in enough to know the name of shows, so we're just going to go with anime as a general whatever. So in YouTube's back end, what they do, and again, this, like, I haven't worked for YouTube, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but what they will do is they have a list, right, of their user, which is, you know, like an email address or a username, however they allocate them, with things that they have determined that they like, right? That's how you get stuff in your feed. You know, like you click on stuff that's like movie reviews or gameplay reviews or whatever, and YouTube goes like, hey, they like that stuff. Continue to feed them that thing. Now within this specific category, that's where things can begin to break down a little bit, where these people might all like, let's go with like an edit. So they like AMVs in particular, right? So they like an anime edit opposed to like a commentary or review or a documentary kind of thing. So what can happen is if you do this for years, right? Like you've built up this big list of people that watch you for this. YouTube's got you figured out. They're going, hey, for anytime we get somebody new on the site and they like this stuff, yo, send them Faco. Just bang. Send them over there. That's the channel we want to be at. Okay. And this is assuming as well, you know, that you're checking off the right boxes with like watch time and retention and, you know, click-through rate and all that kind of stuff. If you swap styles, so let's say, I wish I had done a better job laying this out. Let's say you make video 2, and I'll even do a different color. Let's do video 2, and it's still anime, but let's say now it's a commentary. Well, what's going to happen is YouTube doesn't know that this is a commentary versus like an AMV. It's not scanning your videos and like doing a dialogue conversion, right? What it might see is like a difference in video length, and so that might kind of determine how it gets fed. But what it's going to do is initially it's still probably going to push it to these same people, right? Guy 1, girl 2, cat 3. Okay, so it's still going to push it to these people, and depending on whether or not they stay to watch the video, they then may begin to associate like, hey, okay, well, actually, you know what? They really do like this channel, and they might even like commentary videos as well. And so what can begin to happen is, depending on whether or not people stick around to watch your videos, they might accept your change in style and, you know, stick around and continue to view it, or they might not like it, and you lose some of these people. This normally is not an issue unless, again, like I said, you are making, like, it's more of like a sudden pivot. Like, again, like let's say you're in like the 10,000 subscriber range, and all of a sudden, like you've done AMV all your life, and then you go, and instead of doing AMV, let's say you start like doing movie reviews. So it's still, like film, TV-ish genre, but within the genre that people really know you for, they're not going to like it. It'd be like, most of the people are familiar with me for DaVinci Resolve, but anytime I put up a vlog on my channel, like there are some people, right? There are like maybe, like a couple people that, they enjoy my personality for whatever reason and they watch the vlog, but the majority of them probably not going to stick around. And I think that concept kind of makes sense. What happens and what I would recommend doing if you really don't want to associate your channel with this style anymore is not to unlist the videos, delete them. Because if you don't, what YouTube does is they take this audience data, right? This giant CSV or data list, and it's still attached to this video. It's still attached to your channel. So if you unlist it, it's still there. Like the information is still there. So if you're really superstitious about, like older videos affecting your channel, its performance, I would delete them. Not from your computer, like have backups for yourself, whatever. And if you want to have unlisted links for people to share, like re-upload it. But I would delete it. Does that, I kind of yapping for a little bit. Does that make sense or not so much?
Essentially, YouTube will understand the niche that your audience attracts, and whenever you pivot to a different niche, it'll figure out. It can't tell whenever you pivot to a different niche, but it'll feed it to the people who it feeds to your videos anyway, and essentially build you a new list as you move from a different content style.
Yes, that's 100% correct. Let me just add on that real quick. One of the things that can happen though, right, is the reason why your video is getting fed in this way is because if your videos are continuing to be fed, it's because you're taking off the right boxes. And the big one is obviously watch time, right? It's the one that people always talk about. We want to keep people on YouTube as long as possible. So what can happen is if it feeds your videos to the same audience and they don't do well, then it can hurt your channel because your watch time is going to go down and YouTube sees that as like, hey, this is bad. Like these videos aren't good. Don't share them. Again, there's the reason you probably haven't found like a hard answer online, because a lot of times it depends, right? It's like it's a very semantics kind of thing. It depends on exactly what we're talking about, the timing of things that we're talking about, all that. Like again, my long answer short for you is I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. I would continue to post whatever you want to post. And like Honest said, a lot of times as well, it's nice seeing the older videos for a channel because if you do enjoy that creator and their voice, sometimes it's nice to just go through the backlog and kind of see how they've progressed or some of the other things that they've talked about. So like in terms of old videos hurting you, not so much a big thing. The bigger question is, do I need to make a new channel if I'm pivoting? Which I don't think you need to do.
Yeah, I will say the thing that I have tried, because in my head, if I unlist it, even though I can just unflip the switch, I think I would just commit to it. The thing that I did is, and I need to go back and start doing it. Like it just like whenever I did it, it was just like lagging out my YouTube. Is I tried to have a style for the older videos. Like if you look at the older thumbnails, like a lot of the older thumbnails have like some kind of red border around them and they say fake overview. But if you look at the newer videos, it doesn't have that red border and it's just like a flat one sentence thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the insanity and unlocked humanity, rather than how Noragami mastered the unseen fake overview of the red border. Like my hope is that that can that is in fact a different kind of video despite being the same niche.
I got you. So are you concerned about the change in like your thumbnail language? Is that something that you're saying?
No. I changed some of my older thumbnails to be like distinctly different. I added the red border to a lot of older thumbnails to be like, I'm hoping that if you look at the Chainsaw Man thumbnail and the Undead Unluck thumbnail, you could tell that those are two different kinds of videos just by looking at them.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I did in lieu of unlisting them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that totally works fine. I don't think you should stress too much about it. Especially, you know, like if there's videos that like some of them are probably corny to look back at and revisit, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of deleting like your content journey, because this will tell the story of Faco and your progression as a creator. So I just think moving forward, it's just something to keep in mind. And in terms of your thumbnail, I would really try to keep similar-ish styles, themes, iconography for things. So like if, for example, I like this thumbnail a lot. For this kind of a thumbnail, if let's say this video, it looks like it performed decently well.
Yeah, it's what ever since I went the video essay route, like I had those two flops of Vinland Saga and Dr. Stone, but ever since like I started being like, okay, no more Scott DeLaw's jokes. I'm here to just talk about something. And of course, the most beautiful fantasy anime, How Anime Lied to You, and Bocchi the Rock, they all have like meme edits. But ever since I went into the video essay style, they've been performing pretty well. My biggest problem is I'm just not efficient in my workflow.
Yeah, I hear you there. Same with Ack. That guy's slow as balls. Well, how about in terms of your, does that answer your question? Does that answer your question though, in terms of like listing your videos and stuff, or okay?
Yeah, essentially, don't worry about it, and I would be removing character from my channel if I did choose to do it.
Yeah, I it's a personal choice. At your point, I don't think it's probably as big of a, it's not as big of a deal as you might think it might be. Sleeves has also said, he looked like he bounced out, but somebody says like don't delete your videos. It's one of those like, nobody on the YouTube side of things, at least as far as I know, has like confirmed what I was talking about here. It's just kind of what people have backed out over the years when, you know, they've tried something, they've tested it, and they've said they've taken a look at how it affects their channel. So if you don't want to delete the video, that's totally fine. If you just want to unlist it, this is kind of like the deletion process is like okay, I really want to make sure this stuff isn't affecting it. That's what you would do instead of unlisting.
Yeah, and also, I heard there's something about you're recording this to upload it somewhere. So I would say this even if this wasn't being recorded, but I got to make sure credits out there. Those top 4 thumbnails, I did not make them. People who are good at Photoshop either helped me make them or they just outright made them.
Well, hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting help with thumbnails. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
For the record, yeah, this Unlocked thumbnail is good. And I wasn't sure, like, I was like, okay, that's a compliment that shouldn't be going to me. Yo, shout out my boy, your Pug King. He made that thumbnail for me.
Shout out the boy Pug, man.
And he lost his. The reason why he makes those thumbnails for me is because he was trying to teach me Photoshop of the most beautiful fantasy anime, and he was kind of ripping his hair out. So now I pay him. I kind of pay him to make the thumbnails.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. That's beautiful, man. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Does anybody else, and Faco, you feel free to stay up here a little bit because we can do a little video and thumbnail review. Does anybody have a video or channel review that they'd like to do? If not, I'd be more than happy to talk about some of the videos and styles and stuff like that, because I took a look and I don't think anybody in here was somebody that had submitted I had a few responses, and Faco, I think, is the only one that submitted a response and showed up. So, let's freaking go, man. Does anybody else have a video question? Because if not, what I can do is I will. We can talk about. Do you want to talk about like the edit and the thumbnail, or not so much?
I'm open to whatever feedback. My main thing was I submitted that to ask this specific question with the mindset of like, oh, but if I can get even more like feedback and advice, I would absolutely take that. But I'm not trying to be like, okay, here I'm just gonna shove everything on table. Now give me them fancy answers.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay. All right, so let's do this then. Let's talk. We'll do two things. I'll talk thumbnails with you. We can take a look at the edit, and I have a feeling the edit's probably pretty fine. And then if nobody has any more questions on like video channel reviews, what I can do is we can spend some time talking DaVinci, or I can just, like this time that I'm here is completely up to you. So we can talk literally about anything that you guys would like to. It doesn't have to be video channel reviews. Like we go back to like the client conversation that we were talking about last time. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to yap for like 5-10 minutes, and then we'll revisit where we go next. So one thing to keep in mind, Faco, with moving forward, if you are going to continue to use the same thumbnail artist, is I would say for the most part, these top 4 are pretty close in terms of look and feel, mostly in these two. I don't think that every thumbnail has to follow the same format, but if somebody saw this video of yours, right, How Anime Lie to You, that's a great title, by the way. If somebody sees this thumbnail, they've got character in the center and background with a drop shadow, right? So this and this thumbnail, I would say, are very, very close in terms of style, right? Character in the center, excuse me, and then background. Colors look fine. I think the titles are very similar. So if I were to watch this video, I could make the connection as a viewer that this is the same creator between these two. This one, less so. And obviously it doesn't affect your channel because this is one of your better performing videos. But yeah, so something to keep in mind moving forward is like, let's say this video did really well and it's a 51-minute video, an absolute smacker of a video. If you wanted to be strategic moving forward with your channel, and you don't have to be, this is just like if you really want to YouTube brain it up, I would look to keep a similar style of thumbnail. So it doesn't have to be white background, faded out character, black text, but the overall composition of a solid color background, a outline of a character, and a text on front. For me, as a viewer, if I saw something similar to this, I would get excited because I would know, like, oh, the guy who made do you pronounce this Ruby? Am I saying that right? Yeah. The guy who made the Ruby video made another one. You know what I mean? It's why like a lot of people, like the bigger channels have like a very cohesive look to them. Like this is kind of an exaggerated example because it's a podcast show. But even if
it's like the meme of how you can literally make a fake game theory thumbnail because it has such foundational motifs to it.
Motifs, thank you. That's the right word. Thank you.
And that's kind of good for your video's branding, that people can tell without seeing your name underneath the video that it's your video.
Exactly. Yeah. See, I mean, you're on the ball. So even with like this Mr. Beast one, I mean, the video's going to do well because good old Beastie's on the thumbnail, but it's a deviation from the black background, white text, yellow outline text, but they've kept the same text, style. So even though you can tell it's different from these ones, if you're really tuned into the channel, you probably would recognize this style, and then you might be curious enough to see what channel it was posted under and then click on it. You could click on any prominent YouTube channel and they're going to follow that rule set. So just something to think about. You can kind of progress thumbnails along where you could even, like, if I was to follow this pattern, go center character, drop shadow, black background, and maybe the next one I put text behind it. And then after that, maybe I bring the text to the front and I slide the character a little off to the side so that you can kind of like get viewers into the transition of your style. I do a bad job of following that example on my channel, but the thing that is really easy with me, because I do education stuff, is like, as long as I put the DaVinci logo somewhere, like, people know, like, okay, DaVinci guy, you know what I mean? So there's just like certain things that you can do to help people recognize your channel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, essentially, if someone liked a video enough to hypothetically be willing to return, but the single video didn't sell them, if it recommended another video of mine, like say the How Anime Lied to You video, and people were like, "Wow, that was a good damn video," but it didn't cause a subscription because, I mean, how often do you subscribe after just watching like one solid video? If they later got recommended the Grimgar thumbnail, the Grimgar video, while it was still in their like subconscious, or like it was still like on their brain, they would be able to connect. Hey, hey, this is that guy I watched who made that How Anime Lied to You video, and I'm being recommended another one of those videos. Just looking at the thumbnail by itself.
Exactly.
More likely to click. If the first one started selling them, it would make the second one. I could get them in the door a little bit easier a second time by being able to implement a glance to it.
Yeah. Somebody who also does this really well is Ack with his style of thumbnails. Because like you can tell there's a lot of variation in the backgrounds and the colors and that sort of thing. But with a lot of his videos, he's got the video that he's editing along with some kind of like 3-dimensional text. So it might be hard with like something like this. It might be harder in this to call out like, oh, that's an Ack edit. But I mean, like you can look for examples all across YouTube of people implementing that style.
I rarely do 3D. It's mostly like drop shadows and stuff.
All righty,
I
man.
think I have one with 3D.
No, it's all 3D.
I wish.
No, it's all 3D, man.
Yeah, because I think I've picked up on that a little bit, but not enough for me to fully bank that into something I should be trying to pursue. Like, I've absolutely recognized that a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that have very definitive, like, defined thumbnail styles. But at no point have I ever thought, like, okay, what's my thumbnail style?
Yeah. The easy way that a lot of people get away with it is just using their face, right? It's thrown on the face card. So it's the quickest, easiest way to identify you and your channel is to literally just smack your face on it, so that if somebody scrolls, they see your face, they go like, oh, that's that person. So if you're not going to show your face, which is totally fine, you just have to be a little bit more strategic with how you do it. But again, that's a choice of you wanting to be nerdy with YouTube and wanting to do that. If you don't feel like it expresses your video the way that you want to, you don't have to do it. It's just, like a, hey, keep this in mind moving forward kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely something that would be good to keep in mind. And I am open for it because I am passionate about YouTube, but I love the creative side of it, but I do also have aspirations of it being my career.
Yeah, why not, man? I mean, just listening to you talk about your videos and your channels, I can tell you are very intelligent with what you do and with YouTube. And it's obvious people agree. So I don't see any reason why not, like a year from now, we're not full-time Faco making documentaries, breakdowns, whatever you want to do.
Full-time faker.
Full-time faker. He's here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Honest had a question about asking for feedback on his intro. I would love to do that. What I would like to do is maybe spend 5 to 10 minutes looking at the edit at one of your videos, Faco, and then we'll call it good.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, let's do that then. So, is there one in particular that you would like me to look at? First one, second one?
Yeah, the newest one
Okay.
because yeah, the Undead Unlocked video.
Okay.
I got feedback saying that I gave off book report energy. Because it's one of those things where like I'm having such a hard time being like, okay, here, let me tell you about the value of the show, but let me tell you about the plot, and that plot part, like,
Oh.
I watched Undead Unlocked, and it was very good. It had characters such as, so I want like more feedback on that part.
Okay.
Or just like in the first like opening impression, however much you want to spend on being like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so we'll give this a little watch. I probably won't spend too much time on it, so we can get the honest thing. Slim is here. Hello, Slimmy. I see you in there lurking around. The only other people that had submitted, I didn't show up, so like we can spend as much time talking about this stuff as you guys. Well, not as much time, but you know what I'm saying. So we give this a watch. We'll answer honest question, then we can go from there. Hello, Slim. You look handsome today.
Undead
Do you guys have volume?
Unlock ends its first. Yes.
Yes, we've got volume. Okay. So this, the insanity in Undead unlocks humanity.
Undead Unlock ends its first chapter with a kiss. In a different manga, that would be sweet. But when said kiss is between the...
Are you animating the hair? Hold on here.
Yeah, so that's what the original panel looks like. I had to reconstruct his face without her being in front of it. So I put them together and I gave it like a little windy effect.
Okay, so
Wait,
you're...
what editing software are you on?
I use the Adobe Suite. I use Premiere.
Oh my gosh, not Adobe.
Okay, wait, is that some Puppet tool action?
A little bit puppet, a little bit puppet.
Yeah,
not the Adobe.
Yeah.
Not the Adobe.
Hey, I also hate Adobe. It's just what I know.
My
baby.
interest peaked. I've never been this much.
Sleeves, I see your question as well. Yes, we can definitely take a look at your script. All right, dude, I'm definitely impressed. That's pretty awesome.
Ends its first chapter with a kiss. In a different manga, that would be sweet. But when said kiss is between the severed head of a man who's literally immortal and a girl who causes actual cataclysms whenever she makes contact with someone, well, it could get a little bit absolutely absurd.
Dude, this is amazing. Brother, what an intro. I love that.
All that absurdity is some of the most compelling character writing I have ever seen and shown, and as each character battles with their individual negator abilities, which are more like a curse than a unique superpower, to fight the very god that bestowed these abilities onto them, all while trying to live a life worth living. This is the insanity in Undead Unlocks Humanity.
I love that intro. I don't know. Does anybody have feedback, thoughts on that? I love that.
That's very good.
Yeah. I love the needle drop when you kick in. Just, I don't know if that's like a hi-hat in the background or something like that, whatever song you got in the background. I love the animations are super simple, but they're really well done. Like keeping it black and white through here. I know that's what the panels are, but a lot of people are tempted to throw in like lens flares and particles flying around. And so this setup and payoff of like the head being severed, dude, that is such a good opener.
Whenever I do manga edits like this, I try, if I am talking about the manga, I want it to be only the manga that I'm talking about. So I essentially just want the manga to feel like it's moving, rather than I am making something out of the manga instead.
Yeah, no, I love that. I don't know. Does anybody else have comments or thoughts on this? For me personally, I'm in. I'm in through the opening title card.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering one thing for like the hair movement. Are you using graphs at all, or do you just do like keyframes? Like, do you easy them and stuff?
Keyframes, and I don't remember what it's called, but I do like smooth it. I smooth it out so it's not just linear keyframes. It is the ease in, ease out, which is why it is slow to pick up and slow
Yeah,
at the end, because that kind of gives it a natural blowing in the wind look.
yeah. I can give you one tip. If you don't have the plugin already, but with the Flow plugin, I'll just drop a screenshot. Then you can make custom graphs like that.
I have
Do you have it
0
already?
plugins on any of my software.
Yeah, I can send this one to you because it's very easy. It makes them look less rigid and more like natural if you give them some variants and stuff.
Okay, yeah, I will definitely implement that.
Yeah. See where I have it. I'll send it to you on DMs.
I appreciate it.
I think in terms of the intro, I have no comments, questions, concerns. I really like it. We probably don't have enough time to go through and break down the script in itself. But if your feedback is it's feeling story, yeah, another Adobe person. If the
It's kind of after this where I start talking about like this is what Undead Unlock's about. This is what the abilities are. This is what like this is. It's after this point for like a little bit of a chunk.
okay,
Where I'm just kind of giving information.
okay, I got you.
It is nice to know that this intro leaves a good first impression.
Yes, definitely. A really good first impression. I can tell that you've understood the assignment and are about to present it to me. If the feedback you are getting is, well, I don't even know if I really need to give you feedback because I have a feeling that you are a pretty talented writer. So the only thing that I would suggest is if you're losing interest, if it feels like report card, I would just look for ways to connect back to the audience. So just to remind people why this might be important, or if you do feel like you really need to list off something, I don't know if you did this or not, but just to preface with like, okay, before we move on to this, I really need to explain this to you guys just for A, B, and Y reasons. Just to like, there's little things that you can do to cue people into like, hey, pay attention. Hey, over here, remember, like, hey, this is important. This is why it's important. Let's talk about it. Those would just be things I would look for. It's hard to say specifically what else you might do without really watching it, and maybe I can give it a watch later this evening because I'm kind of curious, man. The head sever, I'm in. But
I had a lot of people who were like, "Oh yeah, I watched your Undead Unlocked video," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Oh yeah, you convinced me to watch the show," and I'm like, "What about the channel?"
Did you subscribe though? Did you like the video though? Answer the question. Okay, before we move on to honest videos, do you have any other kind of like quick final, like, what do you think about this questions?
I should be good. I got more than I wanted. I got more than I initially wanted coming in here. So I'm kind of just like I'm currently writing down the After Effects plugin information, the if given too much explanation, preface it with, guys, this is important. I know I'm just explaining the show, but it's because it's important.
Exactly. Okay.
Are you on Windows or Mac?
Me?
Yeah.
Windows.
Gotcha.
Cool. Well, if you do have more questions, definitely feel free to ask, and you are more than welcome to hang up here as we move along. But let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and transfer to honest. Do we need to do like when we go between different things, I feel like I need a segue. Like, do we do a round of applause before we move on? I don't have a soundboard or anything. So it's kind of just like, all right,
No soundboard.
here we go. Next. All right, well.
The only soundboard thing I have is the CinemaSins ding.
Yeah, I need something. We'll think of something for the next one. So, honest, is your video, are we talking about this one? Here? Or is it a different one? Oh, we've got links. Dropbox links. All right, guys. Well, we're about to get a virus.
Another fried PSU.
And there goes my PC. Goodbye. Happiness.
One of us.
Goodbye. Honest, I don't have, it says there's no folder.
Yeah. That's an issue.
Doesn't exist.
Does this work?
Da, 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 da. Does this work? Just download it. Yes.
I don't have it anywhere like uploaded. So.
Oh yeah, and you're completely safe too. Like, you're not in the United States, so like if something goes wrong, there's no way I'm finding you. So it's just GG's only. It's just GG's only. This is vertical video.
Yes.
Yeah. 60 FPS, had a boy. There we go.
I actually had to like redid the first 3 seconds of it because I started working in 24.
Okay. No worries at all. So before we play, anything we need to know? Anything I'm like specifically and looking for, or just like, you know, like general feedback? What do you think?
I mean, general feedback is nice, right? But I know the intro is fire, but my main issue is...
You say I know the intro is fire?
Yeah, I mean, you're the...
Okay.
That's aura right there.
Yeah. You said I know it's good. All right. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. My issues is I think it's good enough. Like or I already got paid for it, you know.
Attaboy.
But I got sent only like some footage of the shoes, some pictures, and pretty much that's it. I generated the voiceover myself, just got the script. And I kind of lost after the first 5 seconds. I just was really scraping the bottom of the barrel for like ideas for transitions and you know, continuing the ad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's my main issue. Like, what do you do if you only have like some footage and the voiceover?
Okay. Is this is for, it looks like a company. This is a social ad for a company.
Yeah.
And it's going on like Instagram, TikTok, all that.
Yeah, pretty sure. All the vertical social medias.
Okay. Got you. All right. Well, I'm probably going to tell you there's not a lot you can do, because it really depends on how motivated you are to make something happen and how much you're being paid. Because you wanted to, like, for this sneaker company, if you were low on footage, like, you could look up how to make a 3D model of a shoe in Blender and then do like 3D camera work to then like add to the video.
So I am on really good terms with the guy
Okay.
that I made this for. We're gonna continue the partnerships probably when I get the time. He paid me for this £25, which is like $33. What else did you ask?
I was just saying, like, for something like this, what I'm probably going to say is if you're low on footage or resources, or you're not given a lot of media, it's kind of up to you and how motivated you want to be to include stuff. Because like, you could go out of your way, and I'm assuming that's kind of what you've already done, to add in some different graphics and PNGs. Like if you wanted to do like 3D modeling, dude, like you could go crazy. I mean, there are people that do that. Like somebody will hand them a voiceover and then they do everything. So it really depends, but I'll give the video a watch and then we can talk about it afterwards. Cool. Okay. Let's give it a play. And we need volume.
Love Oasis, Stone Roses, The Beatles? Turn your favorite band into customized
Fire.
trainers. Here at BG Customs, we create unique footwear, and everything we make is limited edition. Check out our latest designs by visiting our website today, bgcustoms.co.uk. Click the link below.
Okay. So right off riff, it definitely feels like an ad. And I don't think there's a lot you can do with that because of the voiceover. So if you're going to continue to work with this person, it might be good to talk about strategies going into the video. Yeah, intro was fine. I love that transition you had going into the shoe itself. That was super clean. And again, it depends on how much you want to work with these people and how much you care. You could offer that as a service that you do. And you don't have to be an expert in it. You know, you don't have to say, you know, like I have this, and this, but you could say, hey, let's see how this video does. If you would like, I would love to help you strategize how we post these videos and because this will probably increase this, and this. And most people, especially if they're business people, they're going to be like, okay, great. Like if somebody can understand like, hey, there's a problem here, and there's a solution where I'll make profit off of it, like they'll get behind it. So something to think about there. If this is going to go on Instagram and other social platforms, I would not recommend starting with the logo unless they requested it. This to me, like if I saw this within the opening second, I'd probably swipe away. Because I say like, oh, ad. Okay, don't want to watch. So what you could do instead, an easy fix would be to, if you wanted to leave in with Love Oasis, just have the band playing live somewhere. Like have some old concert footage of them playing live, and then have this transition go on top of it. Is this a voice generated voiceover? Is it their voice?
No, they just gave me the script pretty much.
So this is a voice generated voiceover?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That to me, and I know it's not in your control, but I'm just saying like that to me would also be a turnoff because I can kind of tell it's not a real person saying it. So the edit can definitely save that. If you get super flashy and do like crazy things that might get people involved, but with a voiceover like that, yeah, that's tough. You could also even think about, again, just thoughts, not even including a voiceover, and just using text on screen if you didn't want to like deal with this. Like you have music in the background and you just have like the text hook, like you love Oasis.
Love Oasis, Stone Roses, The Beatles? Turn your favorite...
Bang. And then you could maybe go into the voiceover here.
Love Oasis, Stone Roses,
This section in here is super strong. This is really great. I love this transition.
The Beatles? Turn your favorite band into customized trainers. Here at BG Customs, we create unique footwear, and everything we make is limited edition. Check out our latest designs by...
Like this. Clean. I'm a fan of motion blur, so I'd probably tick on the motion blur box there, but that is up to your discretion.
Check out our latest designs by visiting
I
our
think it was
website.
actually
mask was
go
clean.
for that.
What's that?
The motion blur just isn't that strong on this.
Oh.
I think I had it turned on there.
Okay. If you want to strengthen it, one of the easiest ways to do it, because I know my boy is in DaVinci, you turn on motion blur, shutter angle. Shutter angle is going to be the one that really over exaggerates it. And then if you want it to be smoother, it's quality. So shutter angle is going to be like
One issue.
Yeah.
I don't think I have settings for motion blur in DaVinci 19.
You should. It might not be on the edit page, but it would be in Fusion.
No, in Fusion.
Uh,
And also it's the free version.
well,
I don't know.
I don't know then. You should have motion blur in the free version. If not, that would be kind of sad. Thoughts on using fishing line connecting to the shoe and letting it dude, you do?
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Okay.
I
Perfect.
guess I never noticed it. Didn't even know there were settings for that.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden in a weird spot. Shout out the UI.
And everything
Question, I can continue to ramble for a little bit, but question for everybody in here. I'm going to play it one more time through. What are your guys' thoughts? Like, is there something that sticks out to you, something you didn't like, something you would improve?
Love Oasis, Stone Roses, the Beatles? Turn your favorite band into customized trainers. Here at BG Customs, we create unique footwear, and everything we make is limited edition. Check out our latest designs by visiting our website today, bgcustoms.co.uk. Click the link below.
Okay. I don't know. Does anybody else have some thoughts?
It's personal, but like music for sure. That's the first thing.
There is versions with music. I can link that.
Yeah. 'Cause that was like the first thing I noticed.
I have a few thoughts on it personally.
Go ahead.
So the start is incredibly strong. The end's incredibly strong, but that part where it's just kind of scrolling on that phone, like that part right there, it feels really like low compared to what you do before and after it. Like it feels like a little bit of a low point. I think it somehow being a little bit more dynamic. Maybe the phone is moving or somehow I don't know advertising personally, but it's like the start is very interesting. The ending is interesting, but that middle part right there where it's scrolling just feels a little dull compared to everything else.
Yeah, I'd say I agree. Like, he wanted that though, so there's not much I could have done there.
Yeah, sometimes your hands just get tied. I get that. And the only other thing that I noticed in a negative way in between me going whoa at every edit is at the dead end. If you could like right before it transitions to that background, when you blur the shoes with just the logo right there, like when you blur right there, that's a lot of blur with nothing to focus on other than the link. And then you go like to a background where I think it works better. But it's like you're blurring everything except something that's really small on screen.
Mm.
And this could just be me particularly being a little crazy and that not being a problem. But it is like really blurred background with like the thing that's supposed to be focusing the focus, at least at that specific point in time, is a lot smaller compared to everything that's blurred behind it.
I'd have to agree with Faco on this section in here. Also, I tried downloading the link and it just didn't like me. It says it doesn't exist. Abala said you're trying to move the shoes smoothly. It's not coming out as such. I think that's the motion blur that we talked about. And then didn't notice the subtitles initially. Maybe move them to the middle or bottom. I think that's also something. It's like a personal thing, but I'm kind of team in the middle as well. Like if you're going to have something for somebody to read, if it's up here, it's most likely going to be covered by the TikTok UI, the Instagram UI. However, that's laid out. There's safe zones that you can download. So I think I have one somewhere in here.
Yeah, I saw those plugins.
Okay. So yeah, there's safe zones that you can use to help guide you. I would agree and put it in the middle. If you are forced to do something like this, right? A real cheeky way of upping production value is to use a 3D camera. And it would be to take something like this and, it's gonna be a little tricky. since we got the transition there, but do something like this, and the subtitles are going to be kind of merged in, but you just take a 3D camera and feed your footage into it. And you got to do your adjustments or stuff like that. But then what you can do is, you can kind of rotate the camera around. Oh, come on, Brandon. You kind of rotate this around a little bit so that it feels just a little bit more dynamic. The thing that's kind of tough with doing stuff like this is when you don't have it, it feels kind of flat, even though you're scrolling through the different shoes. So just something to think about. Like if they want this to be included, there's a lot of ways that you can get really creative with animating it. But I feel like a really easy cop out is to use a 3D camera, or you just do like a slow zoom. So you just like slowly. Oh, I need to turn this on. Just slowly zoom in.
Customs, we create unique footwear, and everything we make is limited edition.
Yeah, I definitely love using 3D.
Yeah.
For this one though, the turnaround was 1 day.
Yeah. We love it. We love it.
I do have one more thing that I noticed.
Sure.
Which is very, very easy to like forget about when you do stuff both vertical and horizontal. And it's the last transition from the Instagram page from this one. Side swipes are way more like easier to follow on the eyes when it's vertical compared to the vertical panning, because it's like a lot that's going on when it's going like the whole screen going up. Well, if it's from left to right or right to left, it's a lot easier on the eyes when it's vertical content.
Say that again. So you're saying in here?
No. From the shoes to the logo at the end.
Here.
The big one, this one, yeah.
Okay.
If that's a side swipe with motion blur, it would be like easier on the eyes.
Got you. It's good comms. It is
The
good
reason
comms.
why it's so blurred is because the footage at the top was shorter than the bottom, and I had to freeze frame it. So
Attaboy. So one of your questions was, you don't have a lot of footage, you just have voiceover. What do you do? I think you kind of answered your question in here. Like this, I'm assuming is all you, and this is so well done. So if you want to, you can come up with your own motion graphics. You could come up with your own like gradient backgrounds. You could have, like cutouts of the shoes fly on screen. If they like the kind of like the magazine cutout aesthetic, you could apply that to the rest of this. You do some paper textures and you build out some motion graphics that way instead of using the scrolling phone or the IRL footage. It's really up to you on your approach, and that kind of will come out as you develop as an editor. You'll kind of gravitate towards doing certain things a certain way. And if you're looking for inspiration, I'm assuming you've heard of like Dribble. No? Okay. So there's a lot of like really cool stock media or like showcase sites that highlight different kinds of styles and animations. Dribble is one mostly for, you'll find a lot of like website designs, but it's just kind of cool for color palettes and composition. So like this one's kind of a fun one to look at because you can look at the UI design and how big things are positioned, and it looks like they're breaking it into 4 quadrants, and you can kind of take a look at how these are built out. Do they have a drop shadow? Doesn't look like it because it's a solid black background. This, like bubble, looks like it's got a little gradient on it and some noise. So you can take some of these things and use that to inspire how you put the shoes on screen. And maybe there is like a magazine one here. Not so much, but there's this site called Show Reels. Yeah. This is going to be above and beyond what like any of us can do outside Slim, because that guy's super intelligent. But Like you can click on one of these reels, and these are like, oh, holy volume. These are professional ads, and again, like they can be used for like colors and layouts and positioning. So like if you wanted to, you could, solid purple background. If you wanted to like highlight your shoes and these kind of borders, stuff like that. I feel like you kind of are getting what I'm putting down, kind of a thing. Yeah. Okay.
Like Pinterest, but for design.
Yeah. The other one, I'm trying to think if there's like, Behance is always a good one, but you're kind of going to be hit and miss here because this is like general public. But Behance is also a good one for styles. I don't know if you guys know of any outside of just looking around on YouTube, if there's a good like short form edit place.
One which I forgot.
Okay.
Like
Oh, here you go.
effects and stuff.
This is kind of like your style. This is pretty sick. Yeah. So the tricky thing with doing short form editing, depending on how like deep you get into it, is as an editor, and this is something we talked about last time, right? Your main hat that you're supposed to be wearing is just to put the video pieces together the best way possible. Like you're supposed to take these videos and blend them together in a way that brings out whatever emotions the person wants, whether it's like excitement or whatever. But what you'll find is that a lot of people don't understand that an editor isn't a motion designer. It's not a graphic artist. So a lot of times what I found myself doing in the past is just spending time learning graphic design and understanding how things are composited on top of each other. So for you going forward, if you're motivated to do something like that, that would be my recommendation, is to add motion graphics. It's something that's very desirable. It's very time consuming to do, but when done well, you will get hired for that kind of work. Hey, later, A-Ball. Enjoy your evening, afternoon, morning, sir.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Does it make sense in a way that's satisfying or not really? Is it still kind of just like, nah?
I mean, no. It makes sense. The sites that you showed are definitely gonna be a big help, because sometimes the reason, because I struggle with this. I struggle with pricing because of this, because I feel like it should take me 4 hours, and it takes me 4 hours, but I have a weird obsession with just like replaying the video over and over, looking for new ideas for the next seconds. With then elongates the editing process.
Yeah.
To 8 hours.
Yeah, I have that exact same problem. So if you ever catch yourself replaying certain sections and not knowing what to do, it's probably a good indicator that you need to take a step back and provide some structure to what you're doing. And so a lot of times when that's the case for me, I'll either look into music to help motivate what I'm doing, or sound effects, or do what we just did and look at dribble. And normally once you start something and you just you get the playhead moving, it's a lot easier than when you're just sitting here going like, I don't know what the hell to do with these stupid ass shoes. Like, you know what I mean? So when you're, that would be my recommendation. Motion graphics, take inspiration from some other designers out there. And yeah, but again, like if you only have 4 hours to do it, dude, I think this is great for 4 hours. I think there's some simple changes that you could make, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be an issue in the future, because I haven't discussed it with him yet, but I think he also wants like a person to help out with his social media, not only editing.
There you go.
Will be fun, I think.
There you go.
We'll see.
Um,
That's how much he makes.
Faco had also mentioned that looking at game UIs is really good. There's this website called Game UI Database, and I'll just put this link here. But these are really cool because you can also look at, I think they have a lot of different games, but you can scroll through and people have taken screenshots of in-game assets. So like the compass down here, you know, it looks like they've got like some kind of an ellipse. There's the textures here you and I wouldn't be able to make easily, but little brightness, something like that. There's like a lot of really cool things that you can pull out from stuff like this. So just another resource that the only other thing that I would recommend doing is I use this tool called Millinote. You could use, I think Canva is one. What's the other one? Figma might be one. But yeah, it's just like a mood board thing where you can just copy and paste images so that you can see them. Yeah, or Notion. I mean, you go with whatever. But like when
Obsidian's another one.
say it again.
Obsidian.
Obsidian. Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's one that you can use between different, like, I think you can pay for something where you can access your stuff across different.
Oh.
It's a notebook. It's a node-based thing. It's a board-based thing. all
Notes.
together.
Notes.
Whenever I'm trying to organize my notes, because I take down all of my notes physically, I'll put them up in my Obsidian and organize them physically through that space. Like, here, let me take a screenshot really quick and show you how I organize my notes for the Undead Unluck video.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, honest. While he's looking that up, did you have any other questions? Did that hopefully answer it?
I'm satisfied for sure.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So we'll let Faco pull that up, and then I think the last thing we'll do is we'll take a look at Sleevesy scripts, and we can talk scripting and kind of like voiceover planning. And I'm sure you guys probably have some good input on this one as well. And then we'll call it there. Cool. 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 Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What? Brother's making circuits. What, like?
Yeah, I wanted to put everything into each distinct section I want to talk about the show, but I at some points connected to each other, so I made sure that each one was also physically connected to it.
That is insanity. What the? Does it work well? Do you like it?
Yeah, it is my go-to software whenever I am trying to organize any thought process. Because I am very scatterbrained, and I am trying to do stuff that requires an organized brain. Here is how I planned my outline for the Undead Unlocked video, where I wrote down each idea that I was trying to do.
Oh.
And like how I wanted it to flow, and like I use maybe just 10% of Obsidian, but it's also how I planned my profile picture, because you can just drag and drop images and connect them through those nodes as well.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Shout out nodes, man. Nodes over layers. Can I get an amen?
It's so funny to see, because yeah, Brandon, you've seen how
Ah.
structure my videos. I'll give an example.
And then we have Chicken Scratch. Faco is coming up with an entire circuit board, and then
Holy crap.
Aka's 2 sentences, and it just says, make it good. Okay.
Yep.
If you zoom into those nodes, there will just be like a note that says, I think Andy, the main character, is pretty cool. I like him.
Hey, I mean, sometimes that's all you need, you know? Just a little like, I like this guy. Yep. Got it. All right, let's talk scripting a little bit. I do, you know, I know there's only a handful of us in here, but I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out. Before we talk Sleeves' script, you guys have any thoughts, questions, concerns, or feedback on doing the office hours? I definitely have gotten the message that earlier might be better for the EU homies. So I think next week we'll try to do earlier, and then we'll kind of alternate doing earlier and later. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm chilling.
Okay. Chilling is good. Chilling is
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I usually go to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m., so I'm cooked anyways.
Same. I messed up my whole sleep schedule because of the exams. I go to sleep at like 4, 5
Ooh.
a.m. maybe.
Yeah. We're wild for that one. All right. Well, I mean, if you guys are gonna stay up, it works for me. Okay. This is Sleevesy's video. Its title is I tried color grading for a month. Here's what happened. I tried color grading for a month. Here's what happened. I like the title. I tried color grading for a month. Here's what happened. This is, I might have a similar comment to this. I think strong title. I think this is solid title. I might have a similar comment that I had with Minguez in that color grading is very, very specific to making videos, and it's almost like another even more specific sub niche within editing. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just curious if there's a way to broaden it just a little bit to bring in some more people, but I don't know what that would look like. I tried color grading for a month. Here's what happened. I tried color grading for a month. I don't know. I like it. Just something to think about. There's probably another angle you could take with this. Like, actually, I'm going to copy and paste this into a new one so that I can edit it. Give me one sec. Oop. Oop. Your script is mine now, buddy. It's my video now. Okay.
We're all just gonna make the video first.
All of a sudden, 10. I tried color grading for a month videos come out. I tried becoming I almost wonder if you could do like the pro route. Like I tried becoming a pro. I tried becoming a professional colorist with $0. Or I don't know. I think the title that you have is strong. But just throw in some ideas out there for you. As a nitpick, timestamps descriptor look redundant, more of a paced video by yeah, so I think the way honest that Sleeves does scripts, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he starts with ChatGPT and then expands them out from there. So I think the overall structure is probably not rigid. And hopefully it's more of a like, you know, feel it out and then cut it in terms of what's necessary and what's not. So the premise of the video though is that you learned the color grade for a month and this is what happened. So ideally, before even reading the script, as an outside viewer, something that I would look to include in this video are where you're at now. So like what's your starting level? What's your starting XP? Like what are you aspiring to? Like, is there a goal? Is there somebody you'd like to like? Do you have a hero you want to be like? You know, something that puts a clear aspiration in the mind of the viewer of like, this is good. Because a lot of times what might happen with a video like this is, again, color grading and becoming a pro colorist or whatever you end up titling the video is a very specific thing. And the editing audience, people who edit and do color, are going to know what that is. But you might get somebody who is just kind of curious as to what this thing is. So I would make sure you explained like, hey, this is what's really cool. It doesn't have to be in the intro, but we want to make sure we're talking about why you want to do this. So like, why, it's like, have you always wanted to? Would it help you level up and get better clients? Do you feel a certain something about it? Something that connects the audience to you in terms of like your goals and aspirations for this video. And where you're at now, I think that's it. So at the end of the video, hopefully we have a conclusion that ties in these things. That would be my first approach for something like this. I was typing in the wrong chat. Oh, no. That'll do it. That'll do it. But go ahead, Sleeves. Go ahead. I'll let you say your piece. But off rip, that would be my approach for a video like this. That would be my approach. Okay. We'll give Sleeves a sec. The only thing I might say with I start with an idea, then use ChatGPT for structure, then write a script, then put it back in ChatGPT. So then I take that and try to put it in my own words. Yeah. So it's a little bit of an iterative process with ChatGPT as your editor in chief. I think I kind of get that in the hook. Okay, perfect. So that's that. Those are my preconceived notions going into this video. Okay. We'll see how far we get in the script. It looks like, yeah, we got 7 pages, so it probably won't go all the way through the video, but I'm sure we can cover a good thing or a good few things that might help it. So hook is, most people decide if they like your content before you even say a word. And guess what? That decision is mostly based on how your video looks. That's where color grading comes in. I like this a lot. I like this as an opener. I think the key for this opener is to show in the most explicit way possible good versus bad color grading. If you can show like this is, as a voiceover line is really, really strong. I think the thing that will sell it is most people decide if they like your content or not before you even say a word. I don't know what you show here outside of maybe like somebody closing a tab on Chrome or, you know, closing the link or a frowny face. I don't know. And in here, if you can show, hey, most people will decide whether they like it or not based just on how it looks, and you show bad versus good, I think that would be strong. So let's space and you can skip the actual color grading info. The idea is to be and have the grade go from ungraded to color corrected to color graded. Okay, so question for you, Sleeves. Is this a tutorial or is this you talking through your learning experience? Because if it's a tutorial, I would reframe this title and approach the video. If it's more of a story, I think we can continue on. Both. The tutorial is kind of like here, what I learned all month, quick and easy. Okay, so it's kind of a combination of this is what I found works well for me. Even if you ever watch color, most don't make a lot of sense. Damn, Darren Moston just catching strays in the Discord. That's crazy. Okay, so here's what I'll say then. If you kind of want it to be a tutorial slash story-based video, one of the, I think I'm not sure if anybody else has seen this besides Slim, but one of the best people to do this kind of content is Dreamstrike. He does it for Call of Duty, less so education based or like editing based videos, but his video right here, how I went from bot to pro movement, is like my go-to example for providing education material along with their story. And I'll let you guys, I'll put a link in here if you want to watch it, Sleaze. You don't have to, but if you want a good example of framing a video in a way that teaches people,
Hyperlink.
what's that?
I think you got part of the hyperlink. Oh wait, no. It went complete through. Never mind. Ignore me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I cut out the timestamp there.
It wasn't important.
Okay, sorry. All right. So the thing that you should think about when you're doing your script is, I discovered this, I started here, this is what I found worked. You go through that process of, I gotta stop using hand motions and showing it. You're starting here. I'm trying not to use the same graph that I always use, but I'm going to do it anyways because that's all I know. You're starting here and you want to end here, right? And in this journey where you're going from being booty cheeks at color grading to being really good, we want to go through that journey of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And so before we can hit this up and ascend, we want to set up what this down area is. So I can see in your script already, you say if your footage is too dark, too bright, or just plain flat, just a plain flat, no LUT is saving it. So I learned lighting. I think this is a good setup. What I would do before this, though, is say one of the things that I struggled with really early on was poorly exposed footage, or you say like, well, so I began my journey and started out, pulled up my footage, and that shit was too dark, or this footage was too dark. So what do I do? And then you take people through the journey of discovering what once I had footage. But then you take people through the journey of figuring out how you address the darkness. So there's like certain tiers or rungs of things that you're solving. So like this would be problem. And then you figure out solution. Okay. And before you go on to the solution, the key in this area is to set this up in a way that connects with the audience and you, right? And I think that's something that is really hard to do in practice. All these things are really easy to talk about, less easy to do in practice. But for you, that would be the thing that I would be worried about, is that instead of just like, oh, come on, Brandon, instead of going through this journey with people, you're just already up here. Okay, so you're starting already at like a knowledge point that says like, hey, I already figured this out. Just do this, this, and this. And while it might be useful, it probably is not going to connect with people in the way that you want it to. So what am I? Dude, my mouse game is off today. It looks like spoiler it is. So let's go ahead and read through it. Reading through these opening sections, I feel like you might be able to remove them, but let's go ahead and read through this a little bit. Most people decide they like your content before you even say a word. And guess what? The decision is mostly based on how your video looks. That's where color grading comes in. I really like this a lot. I gave myself a challenge: learn how to color grade. Not like throw a so-called cinematic LUT pack color grade. I mean, actually understand it. Not like throw so-called cinematic LUT pack. I mean, actually understand it. I bought my first real camera, the Sony ZV. Love this. Thought that would instantly level my videos and make me a real YouTuber. It didn't. Damn. My footage looked like it was shot on a potato. So I dove in, failed a lot, but I also picked up a few tricks. I covered one big breakthrough, figured out how to make my videos look less. I like this. Also, color grading confuses hell. So let me try to fix that. I delete this line. I'll go straight into the video. You have a really good setup here. Unless you feel like this would be a pretty comedic thing that you want to include, I would think about deleting that. So I dove it, failed a lot, but also picked up a few tricks, uncovered one big breakthrough. Yeah, this is kind of like your, what is the sentence at the end of your intro paragraph that leads into the rest? It's like your thesis statement, right? So this is your thesis going into the video. Hello, Minguez. First lesson, you can't color grade what isn't there. If your footage is... Okay. First lesson, you can't color grade what isn't there. Your footage is too dark, too bright. Your footage is too dark, too bright, or just plain flat. No LUT is saving it. So I learned lighting. I feel like what might be fun here, Sleeves, is to take a step back and show yourself recording bad footage. Because it looks like the first thing that you realized is that the pre-production process is going to be more important than post-production. So something that you could think about including, and if it doesn't feel right, is I don't personally know as someone who doesn't know film, so it's like I'm not sure what a LUT is. I don't know how good the camera. Yeah, that's a good point, Faco. So it kind of goes back to like including people that don't understanding what color grading is. I would make sure you're really explaining what some of these things are, not necessarily in like, this is a camera. It shoots at blah, 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 blah. It's got a focal distance of blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it could just be like a visual thing where you're showing the camera, and I'm assuming probably going to do that. Because thinking it could be knocking over lights. Yeah. So I think what I would do is, instead of just jumping straight into DaVinci Resolve and showing dark footage, bad footage that you're working with, you could say something like, so step one was to get the footage. And I realized quickly I was bad at getting the footage. And then you could roll into the rest of these lines. But I think my feedback for a lot of this stuff is to have some kind of setup going into this to provide context to what you're about to show. Okay, because that's going to be a really easy way for you to like connect back to the audience and to tell your story of discovering this. So I would just be careful hopping straight into DaVinci and showing some of this stuff and continuing to talk through and work through your journey. I think I've repeated myself a few times there, but is that kind of making sense as is? I know I've realized I've been talking a lot for like the last 10 minutes. So does anybody else have like other thoughts, comments on anything so far?
And I could elaborate on what I said, and
Yeah, go ahead.
so I say this like from a viewer perspective, not a creator perspective. It is. I will watch videos of people who are like, building up their like learning in subjects I don't know a lot about, because it could show me like where to start. Like I've watched a lot of, hey, I'm learning how to draw videos, or can I learn how to cook this in a week, whatever. And whenever I'm watching those journeys, at least from someone who's starting at a comparable level to me, it's nice when we're on the same page. Like, the phrase is like specifically the camera. I don't know what LUT is. I don't, or an LUT, however you pronounce it. I don't know any of the phrases that are being said, and my takeaway from that is going to end up being, okay, so this is a video that needs a lot of information that I don't have, and I might personally leave.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's great comms.
And naturally, you don't have to make videos. You don't have to make a video for the widest net possible. If you want to make a video about color grading for people who already know about color grading, you can. But as someone who doesn't know anything about it, you at least you might lose people like me. And so I don't know how big the net you're trying to catch, like you're trying to go with is, but all those technical terms loses me.
Yeah, I agree. So like I'm reading through this section here, and I'm seeing you talk about DCTLs and CSTs and stuff like that. Those are going to be things that you're going to really want to expand upon, either in just like saying, you know, and then I discovered what a DCTL is. And that, although it sounds confusing, essentially does this. So I tried it. You know, things like that. I think one of my favorite pieces of advice when I first started editing and creating on YouTube is to assume, make an ass out of you and me that everybody who's watching your channel is watching it for the very first time. And they don't know anything about you or the thing that you're talking about. So you can assume, like Veko was saying, that there's going to be a very niche audience that really just wants to see you get nerdy talking about color grading. But otherwise, I would assume that it's somebody's very first time watching it. Because if at the end of the day, most of us here are trying to, let me not mute myself. Most of us here are trying to grow our YouTube audience or reach a bigger audience. So it is going to be somebody's first time. Every time it is going to be somebody's first time watching your channel, watching your video. So we just want to make sure we're inclusive of them. But yeah, I have a feeling you understand what we're getting at, Sleeve. So in terms of the rest of the video and the rest of the script, and I don't want to spend too much time reading through all of it. That would be my feedback, big picture wise, is take people through the journey of you discovering what that thing is. So if you're discovering that your footage is too dark and you can't work with it, set up how you figured that out, show yourself discovering what that is, and then the solution to that problem. And then explain why the solution works. Because then you do take people on the journey. And like Veko was saying, you know, for somebody who might be at a similar skill level, like they get that dopamine hit of like, hey, I learned something too. Like this shit was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this was great. Like I'm learning too.
Yeah, I could piggyback off of your trial and error, but only if you're talking. When you're telling a story like this, it helps if you're talking. Even when you know more, talk in the terms of your skill level at that point in the story. Like wherever you were at the start of your journey, talk like when you're writing that script, write like somehow you're writing this as it's going on in time.
Yeah, like as you're literally writing the script every through the week. Like it's something that you've been kind of like fleshing out as you've been making this video, kind of a thing.
Like if one of the things I've been slightly trying to learn how to do just for the fun of it is I've been trying to learn how to draw. And I haven't gotten very far, but if hypothetically speaking I ever wanted to make a video about learning how to draw, the one thing I learned is how to break stuff down into shapes. But if I am writing an intro to that, I would still write it as if I didn't know that yet. And then I would add that revelation and then go forward.
Revelation, that's a good word too. We need to add that to our vocabulary.
Yo, dude, I'm just saying these like big syllable words.
I'm a fan, man. I'm a big fan of good English users. Sleeves, does that? I think a lot of this is making sense. Did you have any other kind of questions on that, or is that kind of sinking into your workflow and your thought process? As Sleeves is typing, I've probably got like another 10-15 minutes or so. So if anybody else has like an editing question or a content question or anything like that, be happy to answer it. If not, man, we can kind of help Sleeves out with this last little bit and then go on with some of his very late evenings. Try to do. I get what y'all are. I just, you know exactly what I mean. I feel like I go overboard or ramble. So that's the beautiful thing about being an editor, Sleeves, man, is if you feel like you're rambling, dude, just rip it out. Rip it out. It's not a bad idea to write more and try to include as many of those little thoughts and pieces and bubbles of awesomeness while you're scripting, and then in the edit, just get rid of them.
Nothing is permanent until you upload it.
Exactly. I do, and that's how
Whatever you want, it's legal. The cops can't stop you.
And even then, man, even if they do come for you, just post it anyways, man. Just post it. Okay, so I hope that helps, Sleeves. Me and you, like, if you still have questions, man, feel free to message me after the call. But otherwise, it doesn't seem like there's any other urgent. Dude, I had technically 3 people, but 4 requests for some reviews, man, and they didn't show up. So bummer. Bummer, guys. Listen, I'll let you guys go about your business and your days. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit, man. I sincerely really enjoy doing this stuff. So hopefully it continues to be useful for some people.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, this was a really solid, productive time.
Perfect.
I've been trying to fix this 3D camera the entire time. And I cannot figure it out. Holy shit, I'm about to crash out.
I love the After Effects 3D camera. I love the After Effects.
No, you hate it. You hate it.
I fucking hate this shit.
Hey, have you ever wanted to perform dental surgery on yourself with a hammer? Try the 3D camera on After Effects.
Yeah, see, After Effects is
After this.
Yeah, After Effects is pretty butt cheeks. We should just use Fusion. All right, so here's what we're gonna do then. I'll let you guys go about your business. I'm gonna, honest, if you want, I can talk 3D camera with you for a little bit, or you good?
What would you talk about though?
Just how.
I use 3D camera. I'm pretty familiar.
Okay,
with, like,
well then.
Space in DaVinci. Perfect.
That makes me happy because then you can live in Fusion. And put it away, man. We don't need to see that. We don't need that.
Right, dude.
No.
Scrapping this edit.
Put it away. Yeah, exactly. Get into Fusion, dude. Get into Fusion. Oh my! Where emo is that from? That's from my server. Good lord.
That's from here,
dude. That is insane. That is insane. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the call. I appreciate you all, though. All right. Be safe out there. We'll chat soon. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love.